evening and welcome once again to Gaming Under the Influence. I'm Mike and this is Alex. We're coming to you from Green Dragon CVR in Woodbridge, where you'll find fucking awesome new games like Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Awesome beer.
And great beer to purchase and drink alongside each other. Like this chocolate manifesto from Flying Monkeys, an old favorite.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It smells amazing.
Yeah, it's great, man.
It smells
does
really
smell amazing.
good.
It smells and tastes amazing. It smells like chocolate.
It smells like it's melted chocolate.
Yeah,
and
it tastes that way too.
Drinky form.
Yeah, it's an excellent, excellent stout. Chocolate milk stout, they call it, but it literally tastes like a liquefied chocolate cake.
God.
Super strong and delicious.
This
Drink
is going
it here.
in top 5 right now, dude. This
It's
is
great.
Actually really
The Chocolate
good.
Manifesto, Flying Monkeys.
If you want a beer, this is not good. But
It's a 6 stout, man.
for
It's
yeah,
definitely
for
a
a
good
stout, like this is fantastic. Wow, I'm impressed.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, Fire Emblem gives me these same kind
Yeah,
of feelings.
hopefully we
right?
feel the same way about it.
Yeah.
And as a couple of dudes who enjoyed some of the previous entries, I know the 3DS entries we talked about, we both enjoyed from Awakening onwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, Birthright.
I only played
Fate's
Awakening.
Birthright and Conquest, Echoes, and fucking Awakening were all pretty solid entries. The
Yeah.
4 that were on 3DS.
Were they
and
very different from Awakening? Because I only played Awakening.
they weren't very different mechanically, no. They had different
Mechanically,
stories. I think
no.
like some of the stuff to do with the classes and how you change
Yeah.
between classes may have changed. Some relationship stuff may have changed, but other than that, they were like, you know, the bones were very similar. And
Yeah,
I guess
okay.
that could also
Fair
be said
enough.
of this game, but with that, we'd like to bring you a couple of thoughts on what we think are innovative aspects of the upcoming Fire Emblem 3
Fire
Houses.
Emblem
Yeah.
3 Houses.
Based on our experience
So
with the
excited.
previous entries and some info I've uncovered over the past couple of days from Famitsu, developer interviews and statements that intelligent systems.
Yeah.
I was going to say intelligent design. What the fuck kind of... that intelligent systems have been information we've uncovered from developer interviews, that the developer Intelligent Systems is given to outlets such as Famitsu, translated by Western publications. And first and foremost, the coolest thing I think about this game that's changed between it and previous entries is the large-scale battles. Previous
You
entries,
mentioned that,
yeah, if you remember, they featured more modest-scale skirmishes between like the player, his small group of 10 or less guys, and maybe an enemy force of about the same size, slightly greater every once in a while. In this case, player units can go to battle surrounded by battalions, these squads of soldiers associated with that unit. You kind of equip them like you would a piece of equipment. They grant you stat bonuses.
Sorry, so would it be like, let's say your character, and then you equip battalions around them, and they show up on screen?
You like equip a battalion to a character. And
Okay.
when you zoom in on the battlefield or when the character attacks, you see those soldiers around them.
Right, okay. So it gives like that sense of scale
Yeah,
of like
really.
a battlefield
Yeah,
rather than just pixelated characters
That's right.
1v1ing.
Yeah, that's right. The depicted subject, like the characters, shown on screen, it increases in size and grandiosity. It becomes possible to like visually exhibit on screen what the series has always kind of seemed to symbolize to me, right?
Yeah, portrayed, right?
Yeah, large size
Tried
battles
to,
between
yeah.
armies,
Right,
you know,
right.
for the sake of like good versus evil, some cosmic fucking shit, right? And
Standard JRPG.
that's right, yeah. And to that end, Intelligent Systems brought on Koei Tecmo, based on their Dynasty Warrior experience,
Yeah.
to handle the technical aspect, like the programming and such, of portraying these battles given their size. And Intelligent Systems themselves, they dealt with design elements, everything from character, weapon, and monster design, plot, and game systems, all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's right. Yeah. So they brought Koei Tecmo on to help with all of that technical stuff. And on the gameplay side, what this translates to is, again, units equipped with battalions that are almost like a piece of equipment. They modify their stats. They have some kind of determinate effect, like some give you more movement speed when you equip them, for example.
Okay.
And they also give access to a gambit attack or a gambit ability, the effects of which can be offensive or defensive. Sometimes they buff a character's HP or can heal if the character's about to die, or they can be some kind of like big damage attack, like a nuke attack kind of
I've
thing.
been going in so dark that I know like almost nothing aside from the houses.
I never
but
saw this
we'll
in
get
action.
there
I read a
anyway.
lot about it though.
Yeah, you read, but I have like nothing, literally nothing. Like
I saw like a video of the battalions, like in the sense that like you can see them on the battlefield, and when the character attacks, he's got a bunch of dudes around him. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of them attacking at once. It's neat.
Yeah, I may have seen a little snippet of that in one of the trailers.
Yeah.
Looks cool, man. It looks like
It
almost
does
like you're
look cool.
diving into like a Dynasty Warriors type thing,
Yeah, that's
rather
right,
than
yeah.
just like a 1v1 like
Yeah.
Awakening, the only fire. I'm guessing they're all similar.
Yeah,
to
they're all
that,
kind
right?
of similar in that regard.
Or
Yeah.
like a 2v1.
It was more
if you
Final
compare
Fantasy
your
Tactics
character.
style before. This is like a Final Fantasy Tactic game where you're controlling a Dynasty Warrior experience on the ground. It feels
Right,
like,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And another addition, or maybe formalization, you can call it, is this academy and the houses that are in that you'll find inside the game. In the previous entries, you also had to worry about training your characters and leveling them up and making sure they progress through the right succession of classes to get the ideal stats you wanted them to have. Like, if you wanted a guy to be a really good close combat fighter, you'd level him from level 1 through 10 or 20 or whatever in a certain class, like warrior, to get the biggest boost to your strength, let's say, as you like in Pokemon, right? Instead of worrying about IVs and EVs, you worry about what stat the guy is in to make sure he has ideal, what class the guy is in to make sure he has ideal stats for the role you want him to fulfill.
Yeah,
and
attacks you want him to.
Yeah, that's right. That kind of stuff was already latent in the previous
RPG
entries.
Stuff.
Yeah, so it was there. They had various ways for you to control that progression. Units were leveled up before selecting a class for them previously, but in this game it's formalized in the school system present in 3 houses. There's like this monastery, at the center of the 3 fictional countries where the game takes place. Your protagonist is a mercenary who aligns himself with one of the 3. Each of the countries has like a house or like an academy there, training their soldiers and stuff, and you align yourself with one of those, and that's how the game starts.
So you choose one at the beginning of the game, right?
That's right, yeah. And via these lessons, you determine how your characters progress and level up and stuff like that. So they took something that was already there in previous entries, but a little bit more esoteric. Like, you progress characters through jobs by finding really weird items and stuff. Here it's like formalized in terms of lessons that you participate.
Yeah, it's sort of more like story-centric, right? There's a like lore around it.
Yeah, that's right.
Reason for
the lessons you choose to present to your students determines their class and the development. This having to do with the gameplay systems. And the division of the academy into these 3 houses and the rival individuals inhabiting the world result from the construction of the universe for the game's specific inspiration. And though we've encountered like well-developed political countries and like entities and cultures and societies in previous Fire Emblem titles, in 3 houses, the involvement of Koei Tecmo led to the kind of, they said, unconscious inclusion of tropes from this Chinese fucking literary classic, from the 14th century called Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
That's right, yes.
Essentially, it's about these 3 warring clans. And
inadvertently, though, like they didn't intend for it to be like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, they said that they didn't consciously incorporate that,
influence,
but
right?
they said because Koei Tecmo so heavily involved themselves with that.
They probably encouraged the idea. Yeah, they probably were the fans.
That's right, yeah. That's what all the Dynasty Warriors stuff has to do with. So these guys, they liked it too, and they thought it would be. They said here, a good starting point, they said, to say, okay, let's do a unique version of 3 kingdoms with 3 people, 3 countries. This is cool because
I'm more excited now.
Yeah, it's pretty epic, right? Like we said before, there was like this kind of stuff in previous Fire Emblem entries, but like specifically like this, the fact that the world is constructed around this notion of these like warring political factions with different worldviews and stuff like that. Like the universe is like fertile ground for them to depict like a cooler subject matter than would be done if you had like we were talking about before. I think it's cooler to depict a society than it is to depict one person, and cooler to depict one person than a fucking animal, and an animal more than a vegetable, and a vegetable more than a rock, right? Like it increases in its how formed and ripe it is as a semiotic substrate, like something worth enshrining your artistic conception in. So I think like the fact that they have like built into the very bones of the universe this like notion that the world is divided along these like factional lines, and each have their own characteristics and traits and worldviews. Like before they fill the world with characters, they already have like a map of what those characters are going to be like, and the way the plot will take shape based on the universe that the things inhabit. So I think in that respect, very much like BioShock or Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones, the fact that the universe itself is so well formed and like so already determined by like human influence, like it gives the creators like they have a step up when it comes time for them to make a character and fill the game world with events. They already
there's like a template to apply, almost like
they work out the inner logic of the game that already exists, right? It's not arbitrary.
The scale is definitely like kicked up a notch.
The scale, exactly.
Right?
The scale is cool.
It's insane.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Really enjoy that. So those, I guess the second point isn't exactly new in the sense, again, that Fire Emblem has in the past depicted these kinds of things, right? Like political strife and like cosmic battles between good and evil. But here, like the world itself is formalized around this notion of like these warring political clans and their respective identities. So I think that's pretty cool. It adds to the grandiosity of the narrative, not just the depicted army on the screen. And based on the information that I've dug through over the past couple of days, those things stuck out to me. It's the most interesting aspects of.
I really like the choice of houses, and that I wasn't even sure, but you told me earlier that they're not exactly at war with each other. It's not like
it seems that way, yeah. From what I read, it doesn't look like they're at war with like they all participate in this school together and stuff like that. For example, I think they're rivals, and maybe there's like a Cold War situation.
Yeah, there might be like a rivalry thing, but like the grander scale
like
of
at
the
war
plot
with
will
each other.
be something entirely outside of that, right?
That's
it's not.
Right, yeah.
It's not like high school drama between three houses, right?
Yeah, yeah. Even in like I think in Birthrights and Conquest, though the bad guy was probably from one of the kingdoms. I don't think he was like the main antagonist in true JRPG fashion. There was like a secret hidden like real bad guy, and I think in various situations you like join forces with the opposite people and stuff. So it seems like they're not inclined to make a game where like you're literally like there's factions that are like the human element. They're not usually at war with each other. There's like some kind of
there's some greater
magical or supernatural threat. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. Obviously, I mean, we're going based off mostly what you looked up and researched. I have been like in the dark. Yeah. Anyway, Fire
Emblem. Hopefully, we'll be back at you sometime later this week with some hands-on impressions of the title before it drops on Friday.
Hell yeah!
And then hopefully on Friday with some more substantial shit.
Yeah, some actual ideas of how it really is.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see when we get there.
So those are a couple of features we're excited about pertaining to this game, and hope you have a great evening and a great drink to close it off, just like the one we're having here.
Chocolate Manifesto, Flying Monkeys.
Cheers.